Hello guys. So the reason I start the video this way is because so many of you have asked to hear my thoughts on the Pretty Little Liars finale. The truth is I've watched it probably about 5 times now, and I don't know what I think about the Pretty Little Liars finale. I would want to have a very structured video on my thoughts, my theories, But the truth is that if you guys want to see my reaction, which I decided to film because a lot of you asked for it, it's going to be a very just general, I don't know what the hell is going on in this show anymore kind of video. Because this is a very anticipated finale and video. I mean, I've been watching Pretty Little Liars for an entire 5 years. Well, now I guess it's like 5 years and a half because half of 6 has happened. So an entire 5 years and a half of my life I've been watching this freaking show. I've invested so much time and energy on this show, and I have loved it through and through. I never gave up on it, which a lot of people did, but I really loved the show. And it's not over. There's still a season and a half. But if you watch the finale, first of all, if you didn't watch the finale, this is going to be full of spoilers. Do not watch this video until you have watched the finale. But I mean, it was a very anticipated finale. It's been, you know, it's what we've been all waiting for, to know who A is and what the story is, and we know now. I know a lot of people have mixed emotions on the finale. Some people loved it, some people didn't love it so much. I'm kind of just like, I knew this was gonna happen. Not like who A is and all that sort of thing, but what I knew was gonna happen was I knew we would find out and all kind of be disappointed, because how can a show go on for so long and come up with a finale that is so epic and so out there? Well, I guess the out there factor they covered, but that we were just mind blown. Like, after everything that's gone on, we were kind of going to be let down in a way. I knew we wouldn't be like, oh my god, I never saw this coming. In a way we were. I'm not completely disappointed with the finale. I did enjoy it, and I do think it's very out there and it was a very clever story. I just think it was maybe not the way that was gonna please the large majority of people, because let me just get into it. If you watch the finale, this is where the spoilers begin. Last chance to exit this video. I will not be insulted. CC Drake is A, is Charles, is the bitch that has made this go on for so freaking long. CC Drake. When all the years where we saw the black hood turn and then it cut right before we saw their face, you know? This was the big moment where we were finally gonna see A's face, and we were all sitting there like this, oh my god, it's about to happen. And I don't know about you, but I did not breathe while this was happening, and I was like, oh my god, it's finally gonna happen. So the black hood turned around and it was Cece. And I don't know why. I don't know who I thought it was gonna be. I don't know who I thought would have impressed me, but Cece didn't. I was like, are you freaking serious right now? I was really just like, what? We waited all this time for freaking Cece, who we haven't seen in forever, but that she was kind of on and off the show, and she was kind of there. Sometimes she was kind of important. We've already suspected she was A, and then we were like, oh no, she's not A, and like, I was like, what? Like, how is this gonna work, you know? They did keep making us believe that it had to do with Charles. I think why they did what they did is because they wanted us to not be completely in the dark. Like, they wanted to go off of their Charles theory, which I thought the whole Charles thing was really cool. I really enjoyed that part of the story. So I really enjoyed that, and I think they wanted to go off of that. But how are they going to go off of that if Cece was A? Because apparently Cece's been decided for a long time. So if Cece was A, they had to like twist things around. And I think that the transgender storyline is really cool, and I think that it really adds to the story. It obviously adds to the complexity. It adds a lot of questions. I just think that it was kind of a little far-fetched in the circumstances, and it really had nothing to do with the 5 years that we've been watching the show. but it is a really clever, genius way to think about it. Now, I read interviews and articles apparently that Marlene King does not want everyone to think that they purely did this transgender finale because of Caitlyn Jenner, who just came out as transgender. Formerly, she was Bruce Jenner. And, you know, I forget what her name is. She's like that famous actress on Orange is the New Black. She's a transgender woman as well. So she said she didn't want people to think that it had anything to do with that. Apparently this has been decided since the beginning of season 3. So I guess like almost 3 years ago. Yeah, so she says that, you know, it was all just in good timing that all of this kind of happened at the same time. And I think it is a really, really great way to shed light and make people more sensible to the whole LGBTQ community, absolutely. But there are also some people that are saying that it portrays transgenders in a very bad light, which I can understand as well, because A was such a huge villain in this show and, you know, was so crazy and up and down, and it kind of gives people the impression that, like, a wrong impression, which I can completely understand, but apparently that was really not the intention of the show, which I don't think it was. I think it just kind of happened that way. So everyone's going to have their opinions on this, and I don't want you guys to hate on me for anything. I have no problem with the fact that they decided to make a transgender. I just really didn't see it coming, which is good because I think that's what they wanted, you know, to like surprise us in some way. I just think it's not the way everyone was wanted to be surprised. We wanted to be surprised by who it was, or, you know, feel betrayed by a character or something like that. And we didn't really get that. We just kind of got like, oh, it's Cece. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys got that impression. Maybe you guys loved it. But I must say that once Cece started to explain her story, it made a lot of sense, and I actually felt really bad for A. So I think that the writers did an amazing job at showing that A was a human that had a heart. It was a person. They really personalized A, and all these years A was just this villain that we, you know, that was very obviously hidden. We didn't know who this person was, and so we just saw them as a villain for what they were doing, but a heartless villain that we didn't know, we didn't have any way of connecting to. And I think they did an amazing job at sharing her story. The actress did an amazing job at delivering the whole thing as well, I think, but it really came across genuinely, and you really felt for A, and you really identified with A, which after everything A has done to the girls, you just want to hate A, but you couldn't, at least for me, I couldn't help but feel for A. So they did an amazing job at that, I think, absolutely. The story, in my opinion, like I said, is just very like out there, far-fetched, but it had to be with such a long-winded 5 years of a whole bunch of stuff going on. It had to be just a crazy answer, because how are they going to tie everything together? There are probably still some loose ends if you go and rewatch everything. Probably not everything will make sense, but I think they did a good job at rounding it up and bringing it all back together and kind of explaining. I think they did do a good job. What I do feel like they could have done better is that I knew this was going to happen, and I was so afraid that it was going to happen that we invested so much time in this show just to have it all wrapped up in one episode. I was hoping there would be at least half of a season, or at least like 5 episodes or something, that were wrapping it up, because there are so many unanswered questions if you think about it. There are so many things that we will never know, and I guess they can't re-explain the whole show, and they can't make all the loose ends meet because it would be near impossible at this point. So they did do a good job overall, better than I guess we were expecting, in the way that it was so far-fetched and so out there that we didn't know how the heck they were going to bring this all together. So they did, but I just think that it was a little bit quick, and I'm hoping that when they come back we're going to have more information on the what, where, and how and things like that, but I don't feel like we will, because for those of you who don't know, apparently there's going to be a time jump. It's going to jump forward like 4 or 5 years after the girls are back from college, so that's going to be a different dynamic, and I think that is cool, because in a way, if they would have all went off to different colleges, the show would have kind of fallen apart. That's where a lot of the shows fall apart, so I think it's cool we're going to see them after, like where they're at in their life post A. I do think that's cool. I just think it's a little rushed. I wish we would have had a little bit more time, because, you know, that night, the finale, they're on that rooftop, and then what happens to Cece? Does she turn herself in? She didn't jump off, so I don't think she killed herself, but is she in jail? Is she, like, free? Like, is Mr. De Laurentiis and Jason freaking alive? Like, what is going on? Who's where? What's what? Also, where are all the boyfriends? Where's Toby? Where's Caleb? Where's Ezra? Like, they were such a huge part of the show, and they were not even in the finale, which I did not appreciate that. I do appreciate that it was the girls, and that they were very... It kind of came full circle, the fact that Allison was apart from the girls, and then in the end they came back to save her, and Mona kind of stayed to watch it. Like, I do think they did a really good job at bringing it all full circle in that way. But I think that the guys and the moms and everyone became such a big part of it. What, the moms are still locked in the basement, like, we didn't, like, whatever, like, I guess they're still there, who knows. And then the boyfriends are just, like, not even, like, anywhere to be seen. I just think that it was wrapped up a little fast. I agree with how they did it. I do love the way that it was really focused on the girls, because that's how it all started, but I think that there should be more. We should have another episode where we can catch up with all the million of other characters that this show has put us through and got us to know and love, and now we're just left hanging. Like, I also think, like, imagine the actors, they must be like, well, thanks, I played this character for 5 years, and now you just kind of leave him up in the air and nobody knows what happened to him or her, you know? So I'm sure we'll know more, but, like, I just feel there were, like, parts that were lacking. But obviously everyone's gonna have an opinion on that. Everyone's gonna have seen it differently. Everyone's gonna have expected and wanted something different out of the finale. So these are just my thoughts. I think they could have just rounded it up a little bit more. I also don't like that, you know, it skips from that very night and then we don't see anything that happens, and then they skip over to Labor Day. Like, they skip over the whole summer, and then we just see them going off to college. First of all, like, we know that Emily's going to Pepperdine, Arya's going to Spencer's going to Georgetown, and Arya, I think, is going to Savannah or something. But where's Hannah going? Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, she was my favorite character, and they did not say where she was going, which I was really upset by. I don't know if I just didn't catch it, but I've watched it 5 times, haven't, like, seen where she's going. And then Allison's staying home. So they cut to that, and then what pissed me off the most about this whole thing was when Emily's like, oh, I heard Sarah's getting out of the hospital today. I was like, nobody cares about Sarah. Like, I know this sounds so bad, but I never liked her. I thought she was so random. She just came on the show, like, at the very end, and she was always annoying me. And now she's, like, A's little minion, and where did she come from? Why is she there? Where I don't even know if we'll ever find that out, but I just find, like, who cares? Like, we're seeing the finale, we're seeing them hug, saying goodbye. It was already sad enough. Like, we care about where's Caleb, where's Toby, where's Ezra, where are the brothers and sisters, where are all these people, and you're talking about Sarah? Like, nobody cares about Sarah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just found that really frustrating. So there's that, and then, you know, it would have been one thing if they did that and ended it there, but then they freaking show in 5 years, and then it just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. I think they did that so people come back and watch, because a lot of people would have just been like, okay, I have my answers, I know who A is, I'm done with this show, which is, you know, inevitable. Some people will be doing that, but I think they did that 5-year flash forward so that people are like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next, kind of thing, you know? Like, who is this mysterious person and all that thing, to keep people interested and come back to watch the rest of the series. But I don't know, it just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, because I was like, we don't even know what happens to anyone or anything, and you're already showing us 5 years ahead of time, and, like, there's, like, another someone's again after Allison. Like, is it ever gonna change? You know what I mean? I saw this funny thing on Facebook where it was like, they all come back to Rosewood 5 live later, and it's like, now it's my turn, bitch. And then it's signed B, and I thought that was so funny. I laughed for like 20 minutes. But yeah, so anyways, I guess that's pretty much all I had to say. Like I said, it was very unstructured. It was more just like a reaction, what my feelings are, what I think could have done better. But overall, I think they did do a good job. I mean, it's a hard show to wrap up when you think about it, and I think the acting was spot on. I think that Cece did a great job at making make you connect to A and finally feel for A, which we wanted to hate so bad, but in the end we're kind of like, well, I get it. So I think they did an amazing job on that. I just think there's a lot of loose ends and people that we would want to know what happened to, and we're just kind of left hanging. So I hope that when it restarts that we will get some more answers and that it'll be wrapped up a little bit more, because they do have to keep some sort of suspense, I guess. But yeah, my brother was really, he's like, I cannot believe I invested this much time. I'm so done with this show. He was so mad at the finale. But I wasn't mad. At first, when A turned around and it was Cece, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I was so unimpressed. But after we heard her story, then it got to me and I understood and I kind of felt better about their decision. So I do like the way it all played out. I mean, we were bound to have some things that we weren't completely satisfied with because it was 5 years of our life wrapped up in one episode, so I think that was kind of like a quick way out for them. But anyways, those are just my thoughts. Overall, I did like it, and I will be tuning in for the second half of Season 6 and Season 7 because I've already invested 5 years. What's another year and a half at this point? I need to know what happens to the Pretty Little Liars because it's been a part of like my teenage years. Like, I need to know. Before, I always thought like I'm gonna be like finished university, I'm gonna be like a freaking grandma, like 95 years old, and I'm still not gonna know. But now we know. So definitely, please, 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 please leave me your comments down below with your theories, what you think, your reactions. I really want to know. Give me some feedback because I need more people to talk about this too, because the more I talk about it, the more I think other things and I think a different way, and I love to hear your feedback. So you heard my thoughts. Please leave me long ass comments down below so I can read and reply and we can have a conversation, because that's my favorite part about making videos, is interacting with you guys. So those of you guys who watch this show, please leave me your comments. And better yet, if you have your own channel and you want to film like a video response to this, please do, and definitely let me know that you did so that I can watch it and then comment on your video and we can just go back and forth and decide what we think about Pretty Little Liars and A and the big reveal and everything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I wore, PS, this black shirt in honor of Pretty Little Liars. If I had a black hoodie, I would have worn that for the thumbnail, but I don't, so the black shirt will have to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!